A pregnant woman stands at the counter as the bank manager rips her $10 million check in half and tells her to leave. No shouting, no tears, just silence until the glass doors open behind her, because the woman Iris humiliated isn't alone, and the man walking in is the last person she ever wanted to see. If this story pulled you in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. I've got another unforgettable story dropping tomorrow, and while you're here, jump into the comments and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing our community from all around the world. Alright, let's get back into it. A pregnant woman with a $10 million check. You must think I'm naive. First Heritage Bank of Philadelphia, downtown branch. 2:47 p.m. Iris Green stands behind the marble counter, arms crossed, staring at the woman who just placed a check in front of her. The woman is pregnant, visibly, 6 months at least, maybe more. She wears a simple black blazer over a cream-colored top that stretches across her stomach. No jewelry except a wedding band. No designer bag. No entourage waiting by the door. Just a pregnant woman with a check for $10 million. Iris picks up the check, studies it. Crescent Holdings, LLC. The name means nothing to her. The amount, $10 million, sits there in clean black ink, impossible to misread. She looks at the woman. Brown skin, long dark hair falling in waves past her shoulders. Calm eyes. Too calm. Iris has worked in banking for 17 years. She knows desperation when she sees it. She knows confusion. She knows when someone is in over their head. This woman is pregnant. Probably emotional. Probably overwhelmed. Probably handed this check by someone who told her it was real. And now she's here, hoping Iris won't notice. "Ma'am," Iris says slowly, the way you speak to someone who might not understand. "Do you know what this check is for?" The woman doesn't blink. "Yes, $10 million. Yes." Iris sets the check down. "And you're trying to deposit this today?" "That's why I'm here." There's no nervousness in her voice, no hesitation. That bothers Iris more than anything. Scammers are usually jittery. Fraudsters stumble over details. This woman stands perfectly still, one hand resting on the counter, the other on her rounded stomach. Iris glances at the teller station. 3 of her staff are watching. Customers in line are starting to notice the delay. An older man shifts his weight impatiently. A younger woman checks her phone. "Ma'am, I'm going to need to verify this." "Of course." Iris walks to her desk, carrying the check like evidence. She logs into the system, runs the account number. Crescent Holdings, LLC, registered in Delaware, corporate account, active. But that doesn't mean anything. Anyone can print a fake check with a real routing number. She picks up her phone, dials the number on the check. It rings twice. "Crescent Holdings? How may I direct your call?" Iris hesitates. "I'm calling to verify a check." "One moment." Hold music. Soft jazz. Iris taps her pen against the desk. The pregnant woman hasn't moved. She stands at the counter, waiting. Not looking around. Not fidgeting. Just waiting. The music stops. "This is Patricia Lowe, accounts manager. How can I help you?" Iris explains the situation. The woman. The check. The amount. "Yes," Patricia says. "That check was issued 6 days ago. Is there a problem?" "No problem. Just standard verification. The funds are available. Is there anything else?" Iris pauses. "No, thank you." She hangs up. The check is real. Iris stares at it. $10 million. Real money. From a real company. Being deposited by a pregnant woman in a $200 blazer who walked in alone. Something still doesn't sit right. Iris walks back to the counter. The woman is exactly where she left her. Calm, composed, hand on her stomach like she's protecting something. "Ma'am, the check verified," Iris says. "But I need to ask, are you sure you understand what you're doing?" The woman tilts her head slightly. "Excuse me? $10 million is a significant amount. I just want to make sure you're not under any pressure, that you haven't been coerced into..." "Coerced? I'm trying to help you." The woman's expression doesn't change. "I don't need help. I need to deposit this check." Iris feels heat rise in her chest. She's trying to do the right thing. She's trying to protect this woman from whatever situation she's clearly trapped in. Pregnancy makes people vulnerable. Hormones cloud judgment. Maybe there's a boyfriend. Maybe there's family pressure. Maybe this woman has no idea what she's holding. "Ma'am, I can't process this without proper documentation. I need to see identification, proof of business relationship, source of funds." I have identification. The woman reaches into her bag, pulls out a driver's license, slides it across the counter. Iris reads it. Ariel DeSantis. The name means nothing. This doesn't explain the source of funds. The source is Crescent Holdings. And your relationship to that company? I manage their accounts. Iris looks at her. Pregnant. No assistant. No lawyer. Managing $10 million. Ma'am, I don't think you understand the seriousness of fraud. I'm not committing fraud. Then you won't mind if I hold this check for further review. Ariel's hand tightens slightly on the counter. How long? As long as it takes. Silence. 17 customers are watching now. The teller station has gone quiet. Even the security guard near the door has noticed the tension. Iris picks up the check and tears it. Slowly, deliberately, clean down the middle. Pieces flutter onto the marble counter like confetti. Some fall to the floor. The sound of paper ripping echoes in the glass-walled lobby. Ma'am, Iris says, voice loud enough for everyone to hear. You need to leave. Ariel doesn't move. Her hand is still on her stomach. Her eyes are still calm. But something has shifted. Something in the air. In the way she's standing. She doesn't argue, doesn't raise her voice, doesn't demand a manager. She just watches Iris. The glass doors open behind her. Footsteps. Steady, deliberate. A man walks into the bank. Black suit, no tie. White shirt open at the collar. Tattoos visible along his neck. Dark beard, hair slicked back. He moves like someone who doesn't need to announce himself. The teller at Station 3 goes pale. The assistant manager near the vault stops mid-step. Iris watches the man walk directly to Ariel. He doesn't look at anyone else. Doesn't acknowledge the torn check on the floor. He places one hand on Ariel's lower back. Protective. Final. Someone whispers a name. DeSantis. Iris's stomach drops. The regional director appears from the back office. His face is white. He's moving fast. Mrs. DeSantis. His voice is too loud. Too desperate. I'm so sorry, there's been a misunderstanding. Everything stops. Iris stares at the man in the black suit. At the pregnant woman she just humiliated. At her boss, offering apologies to someone he's never met but clearly knows by name. The man Alessio DeSantis doesn't speak. He just looks at Iris. And Iris realizes she's made a terrible mistake. 3 years earlier, Ariel Navarro sits in a conference room that smells like leather and old money. 23 years old. Business degree from Temple University. Student loans that'll take a decade to pay off. And a job interview with a man whose name she's never heard but whose reputation arrived before he did. You understand what this position requires? The lawyer across from her doesn't smile. Doesn't waste time with small talk. Financial management. Offshore accounts. Discretion. Discretion, the lawyer repeats. That's the only word that matters. Ariel has been working 2 jobs since graduation. Accounting firm by day. Waitressing at night. She's good with numbers. Better with patterns. Best at knowing when not to ask questions. The lawyer slides a folder across the table. Mr. DeSantis owns 17 legitimate businesses, restaurants, real estate, import-export. You'll manage the accounts that keep them running. You won't manage anything else. You won't see anything else. Understood? Understood. He doesn't meet with employees. If you're good at your job, you'll never see him. If you see him, something's gone wrong. Ariel nods. She takes the job. For 8 months, she doesn't see Alessio DeSantis. She manages wire transfers, reconciles invoices, structures LLCs inside holding companies inside trusts. She learns how to move money without leaving footprints, how to make $500,000 look like $50,000 on paper, how to build legal walls around illegal cash. She never asks where the money comes from. Then one night, she stays late at the office, a converted brownstone in South Philadelphia where no sign marks the door. She's balancing accounts for a seafood distributor that somehow moves twice the product its boats can carry. The door opens. Alessio DeSantis walks in. Ariel has seen pictures, surveillance photos and news articles about organized crime, federal investigations that go nowhere. But pictures don't capture presence, the way a man can fill a room without saying a word. He's older than her by 15 years. Tattoos crawl up his neck, symbols she doesn't recognize. His suit is expensive but worn like he doesn't care about money. Only function. You're Ariel. Yes. He walks to her desk, looks at the spreadsheet on her screen. You found the discrepancy in the Newport account. Yes. No one else caught it. They weren't looking for it. Alessio studies her. You know what that money was. It's not a question. Ariel closes the laptop. I know what it wasn't. It wasn't from seafood, and you stayed quiet. That's the job. Something shifts in his expression. Not a smile. Respect. My father taught me something, Alessio says. Silence is the loudest thing you can say. Most people fill space with words because they're afraid of what silence reveals. You understand that. Ariel does. She learned it young. Learned it from a mother who left when she was 7, and a father who drank himself silent by the time she was 12. She learned that words are promises people break. Silence is the only honest thing left. I need someone I don't have to explain things to. Alessio continues. Someone who sees what needs to be done and does it without asking permission, without needing validation. You want that job? I already have that job. No. You have a job managing accounts. I'm offering you something else. Ariel meets his eyes. What? Partnership. 2 years later, Ariel stands in a private office overlooking the Delaware River. She's 25, no longer working 2 jobs, no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She wears tailored suits now, drives a car that doesn't break down, manages accounts worth 8 figures, and she's in love with a man the FBI has been investigating for a decade. Alessio proposed 3 months ago. No ring, no restaurant. Just a question in the same conference room where she first interviewed. I don't do this for appearances, he'd said. I do this because you're the only person I trust with everything. Everything. His businesses, his money, his life. Ariel said yes. Not because she needed protection, not because she wanted wealth, but because Alessio saw her exactly as she was: brilliant, ruthless, loyal, and never once asked her to be smaller. Now she's sitting across from him, reviewing contracts for a tech acquisition, a startup called Meridian Systems. Clean company, good revenue. No idea who's buying them. Why this one? Ariel asks. Logistics software. Tracks shipments in real time. If we own the software, we own the visibility. We see what we need to see. We hide what we need to hide. Ariel scans the purchase agreement. They want $10 million. Transfer it through Crescent Holdings. 3-step relay. Make it look like venture capital. And the deposit? Alessio looks at her. You walk into a bank. You deposit it like any other transaction. Let them treat you like everyone else. Why not wire it? Because I want you to see how they look at you. I want you to see if they treat you with the respect you've earned or if they make assumptions. Ariel understands. It's a test, not of her, of the world. And if they make assumptions? Alessio's expression doesn't change. Then they learn why assumptions are dangerous. 6 months later, Ariel finds out she's pregnant on a Tuesday morning. She's 26. Married to a man whose power is invisible but absolute, managing an empire built on legitimate fronts and illegitimate foundations. She tells Alessio that night. He doesn't react the way she expects. No fear, no hesitation. He places his hand on her stomach flat still, nothing visible yet, and says one thing. No one will ever make her feel small. Ariel believes him. Because Alessio taught her something her father never could. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's power held in reserve. It's knowing you don't need to announce yourself because your presence speaks louder than words. She carries that lesson through her pregnancy, through the morning sickness, through the meetings with lawyers and accountants who don't know she's the reason their paychecks clear. And when the Crescent Holdings check arrives, $10 million, payment for the Meridian acquisition, Ariel makes a decision. She'll deposit it herself. Not because Alessio asked her to, but because her daughter will be born into a world that makes assumptions. A world that sees a woman, especially a pregnant woman, and decides she's soft, emotional, easy to dismiss. Ariel will teach her daughter the same thing Alessio taught her. Never announce who you are. Let them decide first. Then let them live with what they missed. 15 years earlier, Iris Green is 28 years old when she gets her first promotion. Assistant branch manager. First Heritage Bank, Northeast Philadelphia. She celebrates alone in her studio apartment with cheap wine and leftover Chinese food. No one calls to congratulate her. Her mother died 3 years ago. Her father remarried 6 months later, a woman Iris met twice before the wedding. Her brother moved to Arizona and stopped returning calls. The friends from college drifted away, absorbed into marriages and babies and lives that didn't include late-night shifts at a bank. But Iris has something they don't. Authority. She wears it like armor. The title, the nameplate on her desk, the way people look at her when she walks into a room. She's not the girl who got bullied in high school anymore. Not the college student professors ignored. Not the daughter her father replaced. She's assistant branch manager Iris Green, and that matters. 8 years later, Iris is 36, senior branch manager, downtown Philadelphia, corner office with windows overlooking Market Street, salary that lets her buy a condo in a building with a doorman. She's good at her job. Excellent, even. She knows regulations like scripture, knows how to spot fraud before it reaches the teller window, knows which customers are worth accommodating and which ones are wasting everyone's time. It's the second category that defines her reputation. You have to trust your instincts, she tells her staff during Monday morning meetings. The numbers don't lie, but neither do people's faces. You can see it in their eyes, the ones who don't belong. Her assistant manager, Julie, nods. Young, eager, desperate to impress. What should we look for? Nervousness. Inconsistent stories. People who overdress or underdress for the amount they're handling. People who look. Iris pauses, choosing her words carefully. Out of place. Julie writes this down like gospel. Iris has built her career on this instinct. The ability to read people, to know when something doesn't fit, to protect the bank from risk before risk becomes loss. 3 months ago, she caught a man trying to deposit a fraudulent insurance check. He wore an expensive suit, spoke confidently, had all the right documents, but something was off. The way he held the check, the way he avoided eye contact when she asked about the claim. Iris confiscated the check, called the police, watched him get arrested in the lobby while customers applauded. The regional director sent her a commendation email. Your vigilance protects not just this bank but our entire community. Iris printed it, framed it, hung it in her office where everyone could see. Present day. Iris arrives at work at 8:15 a.m. She always arrives early. It sets the tone, shows her staff that she's committed, that she's watching. The downtown branch is busy by 9 a.m. Business accounts, wire transfers, high net worth clients who expect white glove service. Iris has cultivated this clientele carefully. The bank's reputation depends on discretion, efficiency, and most importantly, security. By 2 p.m., she's handled 3 corporate deposits, resolved 2 customer complaints, and denied 1 mortgage application for insufficient documentation. She's good at saying no. It's a skill most people lack. They want to be liked, want to avoid conflict. Iris learned years ago that being liked doesn't matter. Being respected does. At 2:47 p.m., she notices the woman at the counter. Pregnant. Mid-20s, maybe early 30s. Dark hair, simple blazer. No entourage, no assistant, no lawyer hovering with briefcases and business cards. Just a pregnant woman standing at the counter, waiting for a teller. Iris watches from her desk. The woman places something on the counter. A check. The teller, Melissa, young, inexperienced, picks it up. Her eyes widen. Iris stands. She crosses the lobby in 12 steps. Professional, purposeful, the way a manager should move when something requires attention. I'll handle this, Iris says. Melissa looks relieved, steps aside, hands her the check. Iris looks at it. $10 million. $10 million. Her first thought, this is fraud. Her second thought, this woman has no idea what she's holding. Iris has seen this before. Vulnerable people manipulated by scammers, promises of inheritances, lottery winnings, settlements from lawsuits that never happened. They walk into banks with fake checks and real hope, and when the check bounces, they're left with nothing. But this woman is pregnant, which makes it worse. Someone is taking advantage of her. Someone convinced her this check is real, sent her here to deposit it, probably waiting outside to take the money the moment it clears. Iris won't let that happen. Ma'am, she says, using her softest voice, the one that conveys concern, not accusation. Do you know what this check is for? The woman looks at her, calm, too calm. Yes. $10 million. Yes. Iris sets the check down, studies the woman's face. No nervousness, no guilt, just stillness. That bothers her. Fraudsters are usually jittery. Desperate people stumble over details. But this woman stands perfectly still, one hand on the counter, the other on her rounded stomach, like she's protecting something. And you're trying to deposit this today? That's why I'm here. The confidence is wrong. Pregnancy hormones should make her emotional, uncertain. But this woman speaks like she's ordering coffee, not depositing $10 million. Iris feels the familiar tightness in her chest, the one that appears when something doesn't fit, when her instincts scream wrong, wrong, wrong. She's not being paranoid. She's being professional. She picks up the check, walks to her desk, calls the number printed at the top. It rings. Someone answers. A woman who sounds bored. Corporate. Real. Crescent Holdings. Iris explains. The woman, Patricia, something confirms the check. Says the funds are available. Says there's no problem. Iris hangs up. The check is real. But that doesn't mean the woman knows what she's doing. That doesn't mean she isn't being manipulated. That doesn't mean Iris should just process $10 million without asking questions. She walks back to the counter. The woman hasn't moved. Ma'am, I need to ask, are you sure you understand what you're doing? The woman tilts her head. Excuse me? $10 million is a significant amount. I just want to make sure you're not under any pressure. Pressure? I'm trying to help you. The woman's expression doesn't change. I don't need help. Iris feels heat rise in her chest. She's trying to do the right thing. She's trying to protect this woman from whatever situation she's clearly trapped in, but the woman won't be helped. Fine. If she won't accept protection, she'll accept consequences. Iris picks up the check and tears it in half. The pieces of the check fall like snow. Ariel watches them scatter across the marble counter. Some land near her hand. Others drift to the floor. One piece catches the light from the overhead fluorescence, the fragment with the amount, $10 million, now torn cleanly through the middle. She doesn't bend to pick them up. Her hand rests on her stomach. 6 months. A girl. She can feel her daughter moving sometimes. Small flutters that remind her why she's here. Why she walked through these doors knowing exactly what would happen. Alessio told her once. People reveal themselves when they think you're powerless. Iris Green just revealed everything. Ma'am, Iris says, loud enough for the entire lobby to hear. You need to leave. 17 customers have stopped what they're doing. The elderly man in line behind Ariel clutches his deposit slip. A woman in a business suit pretends to check her phone but keeps glancing up. 2 tellers stand frozen at their stations. No one helps. No one says a word. Ariel expected this. Not because she's psychic. Because she's studied people her entire adult life. She knows how authority works, how it protects itself, how it punishes anyone who doesn't fit the narrative. She takes a breath. Slow, controlled. Then the air pressure in the room changes. The glass doors open behind her. Footsteps. Steady, deliberate. The sound of expensive shoes on polished marble. Ariel doesn't turn around. She doesn't need to. She knows that walk. Knows the rhythm of it, the weight of each step. The way Alessio moves through space like he owns it without ever announcing ownership. He stops beside her. His hand finds the small of her back. Warm. Protective. Final. He doesn't look at Iris. Doesn't acknowledge the torn check on the counter. Doesn't acknowledge the 17 witnesses watching this unfold. He just stands there. And everything stops. The teller at Station 3 goes pale. Melissa Young, 24, working here for 8 months, recognizes him first. Not his face, his presence. She's from South Philadelphia. Grew up 3 blocks from a restaurant Alessio owns. She's never met him, but she's heard the name whispered at family dinners. Heard her uncle talk about the man who runs things without running for office. Her hands shake as she steps back from her station. The assistant manager near the vault, David, 15 years at First Heritage. Meticulous, boring stops mid-step. He's staring at the tattoos visible above Alessio's collar, symbols he doesn't understand but recognizes as significant. Someone whispers a name. DeSantis. It spreads through the lobby like a match catching gasoline. Another whisper. That's Alessio DeSantis. Iris hears it. Here's the name that means nothing to her. Should mean nothing. But the way people are reacting, staff backing away, customers suddenly finding reasons to look elsewhere tells her she's missing something critical. Then she sees him. The regional director. Thomas Brennan. 53 years old. 26 years at First Heritage. A man who once made Iris wait 3 days to schedule a meeting. He's speed-walking from the back office. His tie is crooked. His face is white. He's moving faster than Iris has ever seen him move. Mrs. DeSantis. His voice cracks on the name. Too loud. Too desperate. I'm so sorry there's been a misunderstanding. Mrs. DeSantis. Iris's stomach drops. She looks at the pregnant woman. At the calm expression that never wavered. At the hand resting on her stomach. At the man in the black suit whose presence just emptied half the lobby. This isn't a scam victim. This isn't a confused pregnant woman who wandered in with a fraudulent check. This is someone's wife. Someone important. Thomas reaches them, slightly out of breath. He's not looking at Iris. He's looking at Alessio like a man who just realized he's standing too close to a fire. Mr. DeSantis, I apologize for... Alessio holds up one hand. Thomas stops talking immediately. Silence. Alessio still hasn't looked at Iris. His eyes are on Thomas. Patient. Waiting. My wife came here to deposit a check, Alessio says. His voice is quiet. Controlled. The kind of quiet that makes people lean in to hear. A legitimate check from a legitimate account. She was treated like a criminal. Thomas's face goes from white to gray. I will process it immediately. There's no problem, I can assure you. There is a problem. 3 words. That's all it takes. Thomas stops breathing. Alessio finally looks at Iris. She's never felt this before. This kind of attention. It's not anger. Anger would be easier. This is assessment. Like he's studying something broken, deciding whether it's worth fixing or discarding. What's your name? Alessio asks. Iris opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. Your name, Alessio repeats, still quiet, still calm. Iris Green. I'm the senior branch manager. Iris Green. He says it slowly, deliberately, like he's committing it to memory. You tore my wife's check. Iris looks at Thomas, at the pieces of paper still scattered on the counter. At Ariel, who hasn't moved, hasn't spoken, hasn't done anything except watch. I was protecting her, I thought. You thought what? I thought she was being scammed. I thought someone was taking advantage. Of a pregnant woman. Yes. Alessio nods. You saw my wife, saw her stomach, decided she couldn't possibly understand what she was holding, decided she needed you to save her from herself. Iris's throat is dry. I was doing my job. Your job is to process transactions, not to make assumptions about who deserves respect. The words land like stones. Thomas jumps in. Mr. DeSantis, I assure you, this doesn't represent First Heritage's values. We pride ourselves on... I don't care about your values. Alessio's eyes stay on Iris. I care that my wife walked into this bank with a legitimate check and was humiliated in front of 17 people. Ariel finally speaks. Her voice is soft, steady, the first words she's said since Alessio arrived. What's your full name, Iris? Iris blinks. What? Your full name. For the record, Iris Ann Green. Ariel nods. Once, like she's filing it away somewhere permanent. Then she turns to Alessio. We're done here. Alessio's hand is still on her back. He guides her toward the doors, not rushing, not fleeing, just leaving, because they can. Thomas follows them 3 steps. Mrs. DeSantis, please, we can reissue the check immediately. We can... Ariel stops, turns, looks at Thomas with the same calm expression she's worn since she walked in. No thank you, she says. I'll take my business elsewhere. Then she's gone. The glass doors close behind them. The lobby is silent. 17 people stand frozen. And Iris realizes her hands are shaking. The parking garage smells like concrete and exhaust fumes. Ariel walks slowly. Not because she's tired, because Alessio's hand is still on her lower back, guiding her, and she knows he's watching her breathing, making sure she's steady, making sure the baby's okay. I'm fine, she says. I know, but his hand doesn't move. They reach the car, a black Audi sedan, tinted windows, nondescript. The kind of car that doesn't attract attention. Alessio opens the passenger door, waits until Ariel's seated, closes it gently. He walks around to the driver's side, gets in, doesn't start the engine. Silence. Ariel stares at the concrete wall in front of them. Gray. Stained. A piece of graffiti someone tried to paint over but didn't quite cover. The outline of words still visible underneath. You knew, Alessio says. Yes, you knew she'd tear it. Ariel turns to look at him. I knew she'd reveal herself. Alessio's jaw tightens. Not anger. Something else. Pride, maybe. Or recognition. He's seen this in her before, the ability to walk into a situation knowing exactly how it will unfold and letting it happen anyway. She put her hands on you, he says quietly. She tore a piece of paper, in front of 17 people. While you're carrying our daughter, Ariel places her hand on her stomach. Our daughter is fine. That's not the point. Then what is? Alessio exhales, long, controlled. The kind of breath that comes before a decision gets made. The point is respect. You earned it. She denied it. And now she learns what that costs. He pulls his phone from his jacket pocket, unlocks it, scrolls through contacts. Ariel watches him. Who are you calling? Someone who owes me a favor. Alessio, this isn't negotiable. His thumb hovers over a name. Ariel can't see it from this angle, but she knows how this works. Alessio doesn't make threats, doesn't raise his voice, doesn't send messages wrapped in violence. He makes phone calls, and things happen, quietly, efficiently, permanently. Wait, Ariel says. Alessio looks at her. Let me think about this. There's nothing to think about. Yes, there is. Ariel shifts in her seat, turning to face him fully. You taught me something. You said silence is power. That the loudest thing you can do is nothing and let people destroy themselves wondering what you're going to do. Alessio's expression doesn't change, but she sees something flicker in his eyes. Consideration. She's already terrified, Ariel continues. You saw her face. She knows who you are now. She knows who I am. And she's going to spend every day waiting for consequences. Good. So let her wait. Alessio studies her. You're too kind. I'm not kind. I'm strategic. Ariel leans back, one hand still on her stomach. If you make a call now, she gets fired. Someone else gets hired. Life moves on. But if we do nothing, she sits with what she did. She wonders when the other shoe will drop. She sees my face every time she closes her eyes. Silence. Alessio puts the phone back in his pocket. 1 week, he says. What? I'll give it 1 week. If she's still sleeping soundly after 7 days, then I make the call. Ariel smiles. Small. Satisfied. Deal. Alessio starts the engine. They drive in silence for 3 blocks. City traffic. Pedestrians crossing against lights. A delivery truck blocking the right lane. You were right, Alessio says. About what? Walking in alone. Letting them see you without me first. He glances at her. I wanted to believe people would treat you with respect regardless. That your presence would be enough. But it wasn't. No. Ariel looks out the window. It never is. Not for women. Especially not for pregnant women. We're either fragile or incompetent. Emotional or confused. Never strategic. Never dangerous. You're the most dangerous person I know. She laughs. Quiet. Genuine. Good. They stop at a red light. An old man crosses the street with a walker. Slow. Deliberate. Everyone waits. I'm sorry, Alessio says. Ariel turns to him. For what? For not being there sooner. You were exactly on time. I should have been with you from the beginning. Then she never would have shown me who she is. She would have smiled, processed the check. Treated me like royalty, not because I earned it, but because you were standing next to me. Ariel shakes her head. I needed to see it. The way she looked at me, the assumptions she made, the disrespect she felt entitled to give. The light turns green. Alessio accelerates. Our daughter won't have to do this, he says. No, she won't, because we'll teach her something different. What? Ariel looks at him. That silence isn't submission. That waiting isn't weakness. That the people who underestimate you are handing you the knife to cut them with. Alessio reaches across the console, takes her hand, squeezes once. They drive home in comfortable silence. Inside the car. 3:34 p.m. Alessio pulls into the driveway of their house, a restored colonial in the suburbs. White fence, garden that Ariel tends herself. Normal, unremarkable. The kind of house that doesn't attract attention. He turns off the engine. Sits there. What are you thinking? Ariel asks. I'm thinking about how that woman looked at you. Like you didn't belong. Like you couldn't possibly be who you are. And I'm thinking about the fact that she only showed respect after she saw me. Not because of you, because of me. Ariel unbuckles her seatbelt. That's the world we live in. Doesn't make it right. No, but it makes it predictable. She opens the door, steps out slowly. Alessio's already there, hand out to steady her. She doesn't need it, but she takes it anyway. The question isn't whether people respect us. It's whether we let their disrespect go unanswered. Alessio closes her door, locks the car. And your answer? Ariel looks up at him. Some lessons take time to deliver, but they always arrive. They walk to the front door together. Alessio's hand finds her back again. Protective. Permanent. Inside, the house is quiet. Safe. Theirs. Ariel sits on the couch. Alessio brings her water, sits beside her. Doesn't turn on the TV, doesn't check his phone, just sits. 1 week, he says again. 1 week. Ariel agrees, but they both know. The lesson's already started. Iris just doesn't know it yet. 3:52 p.m. Inside the car, Alessio sits in the driveway for 3 more minutes after Ariel goes inside. Engine off, windows up, phone in his hand. He told her 1 week. He meant it. But there's a difference between making a call that destroys someone immediately and making a call that sets consequences in motion. Consequences that arrive slowly, quietly, the way water erodes stone. He scrolls through his contacts, stops on a name, Richard Halloway, Chief Operating Officer at Keystone Financial Group, First Heritage Bank's parent company, a man who's been in Alessio's pocket for 6 years, ever since Alessio helped him restructure a debt that would have ended his career. Alessio presses call. 2 rings. Alessio. Richard's voice is careful, always careful. I wasn't expecting to hear from you. I need you to look into something. Of course. What is it? First Heritage, downtown branch, senior branch manager named Iris Green. Silence on the other end. Not confusion. Recognition. Richard knows that when Alessio asks him to look into something, it's not a request for information. It's a directive. What did she do? She disrespected my wife. 3 words. That's all it takes. Richard exhales slowly. Understood. What are you thinking? Nothing immediate. I want an audit. Full compliance review. The kind that takes weeks and finds problems in places people thought were clean. You want her flagged. I want her watched. Every decision she's made in the last 5 years. Every account she's touched. Every customer she's turned away. I want a pattern established. And when we find the pattern, you put her on administrative leave, pending investigation. That'll take time. I have time. Richard pauses. Alessio can hear him thinking, calculating the risks, the exposure, the questions that might get asked. This won't come back on you? Richard asks. It never does. Okay, I'll start the audit Monday. It'll be clean, professional. No indication it's connected to anything personal. Good. Alessio. Richard hesitates. What exactly did she do? Alessio looks at the house, at the living room window where he can see Ariel's silhouette moving behind the curtains. She's probably making tea. The herbal kind she's been drinking since the pregnancy. Chamomile and ginger. She tore a $10 million check in my wife's face. While my wife is 6 months pregnant, in front of 17 witnesses. Silence. Jesus. Richard whispers. She assumed my wife was incompetent. Assumed she was being scammed. Assumed she needed saving. Alessio's grip tightens on the phone. She never asked questions. Never showed respect. She made a judgment based on what she saw. A pregnant woman with a check that didn't fit her narrative. I'll handle it. I know you will. Alessio ends the call. Sits there for another 30 seconds. Then he gets out of the car and goes inside. Monday. 9:17 a.m. First Heritage Bank. Iris arrives at work the same time she always does. 8:15 a.m. Coffee from the place 2 blocks away. Black, no sugar. She unlocks her office. Turns on her computer. Checks her emails. 34 unread messages. The first one is from Thomas Brennan. Subject line, immediate action required. Iris's stomach tightens. She clicks it. Iris. Effective immediately. Keystone Financial Group will be conducting a comprehensive compliance audit of all downtown branch operations. This is standard procedure and reflects our ongoing commitment to regulatory excellence. Please prepare all account records, transaction logs, and customer interaction reports for the past 5 years. The audit team will arrive Wednesday at 9 a.m. Ensure full cooperation from all staff. Thomas. Iris reads it twice. Compliance audit, 5 years. She's been senior branch manager for 8 years. She's passed every audit, every review, every inspection. This is routine. It has to be routine, but the timing. 3 days after Alessio DeSantis walked into her branch. 3 days after she tore that check. 3 days after his wife walked out and said she'd take her business elsewhere. No. This is coincidence. It has to be. Banks do audits all the time. Keystone probably schedules them quarterly. This has nothing to do with. Her phone buzzes. Text from Julie, her assistant manager. Did you see the email? What's going on? Iris types back. Standard audit. Nothing to worry about. But her hands are shaking. Wednesday. 9:03 a.m. The audit team arrives in gray suits and rolling briefcases. 3 people. 2 men. 1 woman. They don't smile. Don't make small talk. They set up in the conference room and start requesting files. Transaction records for the last 5 years. Customer complaints. Denied applications. Escalation reports. Every decision Iris has made, documented and indexed. By noon, they've filled 2 tables with manila folders. By 3 p.m., they're asking questions. Mrs. Green, Can you explain why this mortgage application was denied? Iris looks at the file. A couple. Black. Combined income of $140,000. Credit score of 720. Denied for insufficient documentation. They didn't provide proof of employment, Iris says. They provided pay stubs and W-2 seconds. The pay stubs were unclear. How so? Iris stares at the file. She remembers this couple. Remembers the way they dressed. Too casual for a mortgage meeting. Jeans and sneakers. Like they didn't take it seriously. I used my discretion, Iris says. The auditor writes something down. And this one? He slides another file across the table. A woman, Hispanic, denied a business loan. Credit score of 690. 3 years of tax returns showing steady profit. High-risk industry, Iris says. It's a bakery. Food service has a high failure rate. The auditor nods, writes again. 3 more files. 3 more denied applications. By 5 p.m., Iris's office feels smaller. The walls closer. The fluorescent lights too bright. Friday, 4:47 p.m. Iris is at her desk when Thomas walks in. He doesn't knock, doesn't sit, just stands in the doorway with an expression she's never seen before. Not anger, pity. Iris, we need to talk. Her stomach drops. About what? The audit found some inconsistencies. What kind of inconsistencies? Thomas closes the door, sits down across from her, folds his hands on her desk like a principal about to deliver bad news. A pattern of denied applications, primarily to minority customers. Primarily based on subjective reasoning rather than objective criteria. That's not I know you don't think of it that way. But the data doesn't lie. Iris's throat is dry. What does this mean? It means Keystone is placing you on administrative leave, pending a full investigation. Administrative leave, paid, temporary, until we can review. This is because of him. Iris stands. Her chair scrapes against the floor. This is because of Alessio DeSantis. He made a call. Iris. Thomas's voice is sharp. Final. This has nothing to do with any individual customer. This is about compliance, about patterns, about decisions you've made over years. I was doing my job. Your job is to serve customers, not to judge them. The words hit like a slap. Thomas stands. Clear out your desk. Security will escort you out. Security? Standard procedure. Iris watches him leave. She sits back down, stares at her desk, at the framed commendation email from 3 months ago. Your vigilance protects our entire community. Her hands won't stop shaking. 3 weeks later, 10:23 a.m., Ariel walks into Sterling Private Trust, a boutique institution on Walnut Street. No neon signs, no chain bank branding. Just a brass plaque beside a mahogany door and a doorman who opens it before she reaches the handle. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. Inside, the lobby doesn't look like a bank. It looks like someone's very expensive living room. Persian rugs, leather armchairs, fresh flowers on a side table. A chandelier that actually belongs in a space this size. No plastic ropes corralling customers into lines. No bulletproof glass separating tellers from people. No fluorescent lighting that makes everyone look half dead. Just quiet. A woman approaches. 40-something. Tailored navy dress. Warm smile that reaches her eyes. Mrs. DeSantis? Ariel nods. I'm Lauren Hewitt. We spoke on the phone. Please, come with me. Lauren doesn't look at Ariel's stomach and make assumptions. Doesn't ask if she needs to sit down. Doesn't speak slowly like Ariel might not understand banking terms. She just walks beside her to a private office in the back, closes the door, gestures to a chair upholstered in fabric that costs more than most people's monthly rent. Can I get you anything? Water? Tea? I'm fine. Thank you. Lauren sits across from her. Opens a leather portfolio. I have the paperwork ready for the Crescent Holdings account. The funds transferred from the reissued check cleared yesterday. Everything's in order. She slides the documents across the desk. Ariel reads through them. Account number, routing number. Balance, $10 million. All the numbers match. All the signatures are in place. This is just a formality, Lauren says. But I need your signature here, here, and here. Ariel signs. Lauren collects the papers. Smiles. That's it. The account is active. You'll have access to online banking within 24 hours. If you need anything, wire transfers, cashier's checks, investment consultation, just call me directly. My personal number is on the card. She hands Ariel a business card. Embossed. Elegant. That's it? Ariel asks. Lauren tilts her head slightly. Were you expecting something more complicated? I was expecting questions. About what? About the amount. About where it came from. About whether I understand what I'm doing. Lauren's smile fades slightly. Not in a bad way. In a way that suggests she's hearing something underneath the words. Mrs. DeSantis, you came to us with proper documentation, legitimate funds, and a clear purpose. Our job isn't to question your competence. It's to facilitate your needs. She pauses. Did someone question you? Ariel doesn't answer immediately. She thinks about Iris Green. About the way she spoke slowly, like Ariel was a child. About the way she held the check like evidence. About the 17 people who watched her tear it and said nothing. Yes, Ariel says quietly. Someone did. Lauren nods. Doesn't press. Doesn't ask for details. Just acknowledges it with the kind of knowing that suggests she's heard this story before. I'm sorry that happened to you, Lauren says. It shouldn't have. And it won't happen here. Ariel believes her. Not because of the furniture or the chandelier or the Persian rugs, but because Lauren really looked at her and saw a person. Not a pregnant woman, not a potential fraud risk, just a person with business to conduct. Thank you, Ariel says. Of course. Lauren stands, extends her hand. Welcome to Sterling. They shake. Outside, 10:51 a.m. Ariel steps onto Walnut Street. The air is cooler than it was 3 weeks ago. October settling into Philadelphia, leaves turning amber and rust, the smell of coffee from a shop 2 doors down. She stands there for a moment, hand on her stomach, feeling the baby move, little kicks, little reminders that she's not just doing this for herself. Her phone buzzes, text from Alessio. How did it go? Ariel types back, perfect, no questions, no judgment, just respect. 3 dots appear. Then, good, come home. She smiles. Starts walking toward the parking garage where Alessio insisted she park the one with an attendant, security cameras, and an elevator so she doesn't have to take stairs. Halfway there, her phone rings. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. But something makes her. Hello? Mrs. DeSantis. A woman's voice. Professional. Careful. Yes. My name is Patricia Lowe. I'm the accounts manager at Crescent Holdings. Ariel stops walking. Is there a problem? No problem. I'm calling because... Patricia hesitates. I wanted to apologize. I received a call 3 weeks ago from a bank manager, a woman named Iris Green. She was verifying your check. I confirmed it was legitimate. I told her the funds were available. Okay. I just found out what happened after that call. That she tore your check. That she humiliated you. Ariel's jaw tightens. How did you find out? I have a contact at First Heritage. They told me about the audit, about Miss Green being placed on leave, about... Patricia's voice drops. About the reason why. Ariel doesn't say anything. I should have done more, Patricia continues. When she called, I could hear the skepticism in her voice. The doubt. I should have said something stronger. Should have been more explicit about your authority over that account. I didn't. And I'm sorry. For a long moment, Ariel just stands there on the sidewalk. People walk past her. A woman with a stroller. A man in a suit talking too loudly on his phone. A teenager on a skateboard. Miss Lowe, Ariel says finally. You did your job. You confirmed the check. That's all you were required to do. What happened after that wasn't your responsibility. But what happened after that was a choice. Iris Green chose to make assumptions. She chose to disrespect me. She chose to tear that check. You didn't make those choices for her. Silence on the other end. Thank you for calling, Ariel says. But you don't owe me an apology. She hangs up. Stands there for another moment. Then she starts walking again. 12:14 p.m. Home. Alessio is in the kitchen when Ariel walks in. He's making lunch. Pasta. The kind he learned from his grandmother, simple, perfect, nothing fancy. Smells good, Ariel says. Sit. She sits at the kitchen island. Watches him drain the pasta. Toss it with olive oil and garlic and red pepper flakes. Divide it into 2 bowls. He sets one in front of her. Hands her a fork. Patricia Lowe called me, Ariel says. Alessio sits down beside her. Who? Accounts manager at Crescent Holdings. The woman who verified the check when Iris called. What did she want? To apologize. Alessio twirls pasta around his fork. For what? For not doing more. For not being more explicit about my authority. For not defending me to Iris. She had no way of knowing what would happen. That's what I told her. Ariel takes a bite. Perfect. Always perfect. But she felt responsible anyway. They eat in comfortable silence. After a while, Alessio says, "You smiled." "What?" "When you walked in, you smiled. First time since." "I know." He looks at her. "Why?" Ariel sets down her fork. "Because at Sterling, they treated me like a person. Not a risk. Not a problem. Not someone who needed saving." She pauses. "They treated me the way I should have been treated from the beginning." Alessio reaches over, takes her hand. "That's how you'll always be treated. From now on." Ariel squeezes his hand. "I know." They finish lunch. And for the first time in 3 weeks, Ariel doesn't think about Iris Green. She thinks about her daughter. About the world she's building for her. About respect that doesn't need to be demanded because it's already there. Week 1, Monday, 11:42 a.m. Iris sits in her condo. Same place she's been sitting for 3 days. Same couch. Same view of the city through windows she paid extra for. Same silence that used to feel like peace but now feels like judgment. Her phone is on the coffee table, face down. She hasn't checked it in 2 hours. Hasn't checked her email since Friday when Thomas walked her out of the bank with a security guard 3 steps behind like she was a criminal. Administrative leave. Pending investigation. Those words loop in her head like a song she can't stop hearing. She picks up her phone. Unlocks it. Opens her email app even though she knows she shouldn't. Even though her lawyer, the one she hired Saturday morning, told her not to engage with anything related to work until the investigation concludes. 47 unread emails. She scrolls through them. Most are automated notifications. System updates. Promotional messages from companies she doesn't remember signing up for. 3 are from colleagues. She opens the first one. From Julie, her assistant manager. "Iris, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. If you need anything, let me know." Generic. Safe. The kind of message someone sends when they want to appear supportive without actually taking a risk. The second email is from David, the assistant manager who stood near the vault that day, who watched everything happen, who said nothing. "Hope you're doing okay. This will blow over. Audits happen all the time." Iris stares at that last sentence. Audits happen all the time. Except they don't. Not like this. Not with 3 people in gray suits spending 4 days combing through 5 years of records. Not with questions about denied applications and subjective reasoning and patterns. The third email is from Melissa, the young teller. The one who handed Iris the check. The one who looked relieved when Iris said she'd handle it. "I don't know what to say. I keep thinking about that day. I should have said something. I'm sorry." Iris closes the email app. She doesn't want apologies. She wants someone to tell her she was right, that she did her job, that protecting the bank from fraud is what she was hired to do. But no one's saying that. Instead, they're sending careful messages that sound like support but feel like distance. Like they're already preparing for the outcome where she doesn't come back. She stands, walks to the kitchen, opens the refrigerator, stares at the contents. Yogurt, leftover salad, half a bottle of white wine. She closes the refrigerator without taking anything. Walks to the window, looks down at the street. People walking, living their lives, going to jobs they still have, coming home to routines that haven't been destroyed by one decision. One decision. That's what Thomas called it. One decision that revealed a pattern. But Iris made hundreds of decisions over 8 years. Thousands, maybe. Approved loans, processed deposits, helped customers navigate complicated transactions. She was good at her job, excellent even, and now none of that matters. Because of one pregnant woman with a check that seemed wrong. Week 1, Thursday, 3:27 p.m. Iris is still in her condo when her phone rings. She looks at the screen. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. But isolation does strange things to people. Makes them desperate for connection. Even connection from strangers. "Hello? Iris Green?" A man's voice. Professional. Cold. "Yes. This is James Portman from Keystone Financial Group's legal department. I'm calling to schedule your interview regarding the compliance investigation." Iris's stomach drops. "Interview?" "Yes. Standard procedure. We need your statement regarding the findings from the audit. Can you come to our offices Monday at 10 a.m.? What findings? That will be discussed during the interview. I have a right to know what I'm being accused of." "You're not being accused of anything. This is an investigation. The interview is part of the process." Iris sits down. Her legs won't hold her anymore. "What if I don't come? Then we'll proceed without your statement." "Which I wouldn't recommend. Am I being fired? Silence on the other end. Long enough that Iris knows the answer before he says it. That determination hasn't been made yet, but I strongly encourage you to attend the interview. He hangs up. Iris sits there, phone still pressed to her ear, listening to dead air. Week 2, Sunday, 9:15 p.m. Iris can't sleep. She's been lying in bed for 3 hours, staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks in the plaster she's never noticed before, listening to her neighbor's television through the wall. Some crime show, dramatic music, shouting. She gets up, goes to her computer, opens her browser, types Alessio DeSantis. The search results fill the screen. Articles, most from years ago, a few recent ones. None of them say much. Businessman, real estate investor, owns several restaurants in Philadelphia area. Nothing concrete, nothing specific, just vague descriptions of a man who apparently owns things but doesn't appear in public much. She scrolls down, finds an article from 8 years ago, a federal investigation into organized crime. Alessio's name mentioned once. Near the end, in a list of people authorities interviewed but never charged, another article, 6 years old, a fire at one of his restaurants, ruled accidental. Insurance paid out. Restaurant rebuilt within 4 months. Nothing that proves anything, but nothing that disproves anything either. Iris closes the browser, opens a new tab, types, Ariel DeSantis, almost nothing. A wedding announcement from 3 years ago, small mention in the society section of a local paper. Ariel Navarro married Alessio DeSantis in a private ceremony. That's it. No social media, no LinkedIn profile, no digital footprint beyond that one announcement. Iris stares at the screen. She tore a check belonging to a woman who doesn't exist online. A woman married to a man who owns things but doesn't explain what or why. A woman who walked into a bank 6 months pregnant and calm like she knew exactly what would happen. And now Iris is sitting in her condo at 9:15 p.m. on a Sunday Googling people who don't want to be found. She closes the laptop, goes back to bed, doesn't sleep. Week 3, Wednesday, 2:34 p.m. Iris stands in her bathroom, staring at herself in the mirror. She's lost weight. Not intentionally, just stopped eating much. Yogurt in the morning, maybe a sandwich at lunch, nothing for dinner. Her clothes fit differently, looser. Her face looks thinner, older. She's 36, but right now she looks 45. Her phone buzzes. Text from her lawyer. Keystone made a decision. Call me. Iris picks up her phone. Dials. Her lawyer answers immediately. Iris, what decision? They're terminating your employment, effective immediately. The words don't land at first. They hover in the air like something foreign, something that belongs to someone else's life. On what grounds? Pattern of discriminatory lending practices. Violation of fair housing regulations. Breach of fiduciary duty. That's not I know, but they have documentation. Denied applications. All following similar patterns. All involving minority applicants. All based on subjective criteria. Iris sits on the edge of her bathtub. What do I do? You can fight it. File a wrongful termination suit. But Iris, her lawyer pauses. They have a strong case. And fighting it means dragging this out for months. Maybe years. It means depositions, court appearances, your name in public records. So I just accept it? I'm saying you need to think carefully about what you want, what you can handle. Iris closes her eyes. How did this happen? You made a decision, a bad one, and someone with power decided you should face consequences. Alessio DeSantis. Her lawyer doesn't confirm or deny. Does it matter? Yes. Why? Because I was doing my job. I was protecting the bank. From what? A legitimate check from a legitimate account held by a woman who had every right to deposit it? Iris doesn't answer. You saw a pregnant woman, her lawyer continues, and you made assumptions. You decided she couldn't possibly understand what she was holding. You decided she needed you to save her, and when she didn't accept your savior complex, you humiliated her. I didn't. You tore her check in front of 17 people. Silence. I'll send you the severance paperwork, her lawyer says. Read it carefully. Sign it if you want this to end quietly. Don't sign it if you want to fight. She hangs up. Iris sits there, on the edge of her bathtub, in her too big clothes, in her too quiet condo, and finally understands. This was never about the check. It was about respect. And she gave none. Present day. 7:43 p.m. Ariel sits in the nursery. The room is almost finished. Pale yellow walls, white furniture, a mobile hanging above the crib with small wooden animals, a giraffe, an elephant, a lion. She's folding tiny clothes, onesies with snaps at the bottom, sleepers with footies. Everything impossibly small. Everything a reminder that in 6 weeks, maybe 7, her daughter will be here, real, breathing, dependent. The thought should terrify her. Instead, it centers her. Alessio appears in the doorway, leans against the frame, watches her fold. "You've been in here for an hour," he says. "I like it in here. It's quiet. It won't be soon." Ariel smiles. "No, it won't." Alessio walks in, sits in the rocking chair they bought last week. Gray fabric, modern lines, the kind of chair that costs too much but will last decades. "I got a call today," he says. "From who?" "Richard Halloway." Ariel sets down the onesie she's folding. "What did he say?" "Iris Green was terminated. Effective immediately." Ariel doesn't react, just picks up another onesie, pink with white stripes. "How do you feel about that?" Alessio asks. "I don't feel anything." "Nothing?" She made a choice. Now she's living with it. Ariel folds the onesie carefully, places it in a drawer. "I'm not happy about it. I'm not sad about it. It just is." Alessio rocks slowly. The chair creaks slightly. A sound that will become familiar, a sound their daughter will hear while being rocked to sleep. "You're kinder than me," he says. "I'm not kind. I'm honest." Ariel turns to face him. "She didn't lose her job because I wanted revenge. She lost it because someone finally looked at her pattern of decisions and realized she was a liability. I made that happen." "You made a phone call." "Richard made the decision. Keystone made the decision. Iris made the decisions that gave them ammunition." Ariel sits on the floor, cross-legged. The way she used to sit before her stomach made it uncomfortable. If she'd treated me with basic respect, if she'd processed the check without judgment, none of this would have happened. Alessio stops rocking. "You really believe that?" "I know that." Silence settles between them, not uncomfortable, just present. After a while, Alessio says, "What are you going to tell her?" "Who?" "Our daughter. When she asks about this, about what we did." Ariel rests her hand on her stomach, feels movement, a kick, strong, determined. "I'll tell her the truth," Ariel says, "that the world will make assumptions about her, that people will see her last name and decide who she is before she opens her mouth, that some will respect her because they're afraid, others will dismiss her because they think fear is the only reason anyone respects us, and I'll teach her what you taught me, that silence is power, that respect given out of fear is better than no respect at all, but respect given freely, respect earned by walking into a room and being exactly who you are, that's the kind worth having." Alessio stands, walks to where she's sitting, kneels beside her, places his hand over hers on her stomach. "She's going to be like you," he says. "She's going to be better than me." "Not possible." Ariel laughs, quiet, real, the kind of laugh that only happens when guardrails come down. They sit like that for a while, hands on her stomach, feeling their daughter move, feeling the future press against the present. "I never apologized," Alessio says. "For what?" "For not protecting you from that moment, from having to experience what Iris did to you." Ariel turns to look at him. "You did protect me. You showed up exactly when I needed you. You reminded me that I'm not alone. But nothing." Ariel cups his face. "I chose to walk in there alone. I chose to let her reveal herself. I chose to stand there and take it because I wanted to see who she was when she thought I was powerless. You can't protect me from my own choices. And I don't want you to." Alessio leans his forehead against hers. "I love you. I know." They stay like that. In the nursery, with the mobile spinning slowly above the crib, with their daughter moving between them, with consequences still unfolding somewhere across the city in a woman's too-quiet condo. "She didn't just disrespect me," Ariel says softly. "I know. She disrespected our daughter's future. She looked at me, at us, and decided we didn't deserve dignity, didn't deserve the benefit of doubt, didn't deserve basic human respect. I know. And that's why she lost everything." Alessio pulls back, looks at her. "Not because I made a call. Not because you made a call," Ariel confirms. "Because she built her authority on judgment instead of service. And eventually that foundation cracks." "You sound like my grandmother." "Your grandmother was smart. She would have liked you. I would have liked her." They stand, slowly. Alessio helps Ariel up. She's heavier now, moving differently, but still graceful, still certain. They walk to the window. Look out at the neighborhood. Quiet streets. Houses with lights on. Families inside doing ordinary things. Eating dinner, watching TV, living lives that don't include torn checks or federal investigations or names that make people whisper. I want her to have this, Ariel says. What? Ordinary. I want her to grow up in a house where the worst thing that happens is a scraped knee or a bad grade. I want her to have birthday parties and sleepovers and friends whose parents don't Google our last name before approving playdates. That's not realistic. I know, but I want it anyway. Alessio wraps his arm around her. Then we'll give her as much of it as we can, and when the world shows her who we really are, who I really am, we'll teach her how to carry it, with silence. With silence. They stand there, watching the neighborhood, building the future in their heads, one decision at a time. 2 months later, January, 3:17 a.m., Ariel wakes to pain, not the kind she's felt before. Not the Braxton Hicks contractions the doctor warned her about. Real pain. Low. Tightening. She reaches for Alessio. He's already awake. It's time, she says. He doesn't panic, doesn't rush, just gets up, gets dressed, grabs the bag they packed 3 weeks ago. They drive to the hospital in silence. Comfortable. Familiar. The kind of silence they've built their marriage on. At 9:23 a.m., their daughter is born. 6 pounds, 7 ounces, dark hair, eyes that haven't decided what color they'll be yet, lungs that work perfectly, announcing her arrival to everyone within 50 feet. The nurse places her on Ariel's chest. Warm, wet, screaming. Ariel looks down at her daughter and feels something shift. Not love, she's loved her since the first ultrasound. Something else. Responsibility, purpose, the weight of every decision she'll make from this moment forward. She's perfect, Alessio says. She is. The nurse smiles. Have you chosen a name? Ariel looks at Alessio. They discussed this, argued about it, went through family names and rejected them all, because neither of them wanted their daughter carrying the weight of someone else's legacy. Isabella, Ariel says. Isabella DeSantis, the nurse repeats, writing it down. Beautiful. She leaves them alone. Ariel holds Isabella against her chest, feels her breathing, feels her tiny heartbeat. She'll never know, Ariel whispers. Know what? What happened before she was born? What someone did to us? How we responded? Alessio sits on the edge of the hospital bed, touches Isabella's tiny hand. Her fingers wrap around his thumb instinctively. Maybe that's better, he says. Maybe. They sit like that for an hour. Just the 3 of them. A family now. Complete. 3 days later. Home. Isabella sleeps in the nursery. In the crib with the mobile. Under the soft yellow light filtering through curtains. Ariel sits in the rocking chair. Watching her breathe. Watching her chest rise and fall. Watching her exist. Alessio appears in the doorway. He's holding his phone. Richard called, he says quietly. And? Iris Green signed the severance agreement. It's done. Ariel nods. Doesn't look away from Isabella. Good? That's it? Just good? What else is there? Alessio walks in, stands beside the crib, looks down at their daughter. I thought you'd want to know details. What she's doing now. Where she went. I don't. Why not? Ariel finally looks at him. Because she's not part of our story anymore. She was a moment, a lesson, a reminder that the world makes assumptions. But she's not part of what happens next. And what happens next? Ariel stands, walks to him, takes his hand. We raise our daughter. We teach her how to move through the world. We show her that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. That respect isn't given freely, it's earned. And that sometimes, the loudest thing you can do is nothing. Alessio squeezes her hand. My grandmother would say, you're wise beyond your years. Your grandmother would say I married well. That too. They stand there. Watching Isabella sleep. Watching the mobile spin slowly. Watching the future they've built for her take shape. Do you regret it? Alessio asks. Walking into that bank alone? Yes. Ariel thinks about it. Really thinks. About the moment Iris tore the check. About the 17 witnesses who said nothing. About the pieces of paper falling like snow onto marble. No, she says finally. Because she showed me exactly who she was. And I showed her exactly who I am. And now she has to live with the fact that she made assumptions about the wrong woman. And Isabella? Isabella will never make those assumptions. Because we'll teach her better. How? Ariel looks at him. By being exactly who we are. By never apologizing for our power. By showing her that silence is only weakness when it comes from fear, and we don't fear anything. Alessio pulls her close, kisses the top of her head. I love you. I love you too. Isabella stirs, makes a small sound. Not crying, just existing. Announcing her presence the way she'll learn to announce everything else boldly, without asking permission. Ariel walks to the crib, picks her up carefully, holds her against her chest. Hey, baby girl, she whispers. Welcome to your life. Isabella opens her eyes, dark, deep, looking at her mother like she understands everything even though she understands nothing yet. You're going to be okay, Ariel says. Because we're going to teach you how to be okay. How to walk into rooms and demand respect without saying a word. How to let people reveal themselves before you reveal anything. How to build power quietly so no one sees it coming until it's too late. Alessio stands beside her, touches Isabella's tiny hand. And if someone disrespects you, he says softly, we'll teach you how to handle that too. With silence, Ariel adds. With silence, Alessio confirms. They stand there, the three of them. A family built on strategy and love and the understanding that respect isn't negotiable. Outside, the world continues. Banks open, people make assumptions, managers tear checks they shouldn't tear, but inside this house, in this nursery, with this family, none of that matters. Because Ariel DeSantis walked into a bank 6 months pregnant and was humiliated, and now she's standing in her daughter's nursery, teaching her the most important lesson anyone can learn. Some silences are not weakness. They are warnings, and the people who mistake one for the other pay for it long after the moment passes. Isabella falls back asleep. Ariel rocks her gently, and somewhere across the city, in a too-quiet condo, Iris Green wakes up to another morning without a job, without authority, without the armor she wore for 15 years. She tears open an envelope. Severance paperwork, final paycheck, non-disclosure agreement. She signs everything, because she has no other choice. Because she made a decision 6 months ago that revealed exactly who she was, and Ariel DeSantis let her. Thanks for staying with this story right till the final moment. You're the reason these stories come alive. If you're ready for another powerful journey, just tap the next video on your screen. And before you go, leave a quick comment and rate this story from 1 to 10. I'm excited to see your thoughts and connect with you down there.